Hey guys, it's Jeremy here at Metal Music Meltdown, back with another video. What I have for today, guys, is another album review, keeping that streak alive. I really wanted to check out the new Atrophy album. Killer band from back in the day that only released 2 albums. This is their first studio album in 34 years, guys. That's crazy. But I'm super happy to see they came back. It was like really killer band back in the day. Before my time, but a band I really enjoyed once I discovered them. They're formed in 1987 out of Tucson, Arizona. They're considered pretty much straight up thrash, social issues of the lyrical theme, death, humor, political mockery. They had a debut album in '88 called Socialized Hate, which is a thrash staple. Definitely an album everyone has to hear. And then they had their follow-up in 1990, Violent by Nature, and that's pretty much all they did. And then they haven't had anything until now. And the new album, Asylum, just came out on March the 15th through Massacre Records. Killer album, guys. This is a really highly anticipated album for me this year. After they've been gone for so long, I really wanted to see what they were going to do. And this album kicked ass. It's brutal, it's aggressive, it's thrashy through the whole album, doesn't let up. It's like that old school Atrophy sound, but a little bit of a modern twist. 9 songs in total, and the total runtime is 44 minutes, so it's not bad. And opening track, Punishment for All, really good opener, has this really killer drum intro that blasts into this galloping, thrashy riff, super aggressive and heavy right off the top. The guy's vocal on this really reminds me of Chuck Billy, which is an amazing thing because Chuck Billy's probably my favorite thrash metal vocalist of all time, and Testament is my favorite thrash band of all time. So his vocal delivery is very reminiscent of Chuck Billy. He's got that gruff, but still really pronunciates the words. It's easy to understand what he's saying, and his voice and vocal delivery kind of goes along with the rhythm of the guitars and the rhythm of the song. So it kind of blends perfectly. I really enjoyed that. Very reminiscent of Testament in a lot of ways that way. But yeah, the opening track was killer. Great guitar leads over the top. Great riffing. Like I said, that galloping, thrashy riff, that was just really killer stuff. Second track, High Anxiety. Started off with this like mid-tempo kind of pace, and then blasted into this like ferocious, thrashy riff. And I found on this album, they changed up the pacing and the tempo enough just to keep it interesting. I hate when thrash bands kind of do the same blast beat and like this just guitar machine gun riff, but the same riff almost in every song just for the sake of being fast. And it just kind of gives your ear fatigue after a while when you're hearing the same thing over and over throughout the whole song. No kind of peaks and valleys in the songs, no dimension, just kind of one level. I love this in this album, that they had so many more dimensions and layers. They'd have that kind of galloping, chuggy riff in the bottom, carrying the intensity, but then over the top, they'd layer like this really melodic lead work, and was really, really on point, really tight. And then the voice was, again, carrying the aggressiveness as well. Seeds of Sorrow is one of the examples that had that really, really nice melodic guitar work, melodic lead work over the top, really adding a nice dimension of melody to the song, but still maintaining the brutality with the main riff underneath. Distortion had a really cool kind of circle pit kind of riff, more mid-pace, kind of really thumper. Really good song. I really enjoyed that one as well. Really cool stuff. Bleeding Out was another high energy, thrashy song. Great guitar leads over the top again. American Dream, I think, was the one that had the guest guitarist from Heathen. The one thing I didn't like with American Dream, at the end of it, it kind of seemed to stop abruptly. I wish they would have gone to another verse, or kind of found another way to end the song. It kind of felt like it was cut off a little too quick, but a really good song nonetheless. Number 7, Close My Eyes, had this really beautiful kind of clean vocal chanting kind of thing at the beginning. Nice little change in pace, kind of slow it down a bit, but then blast into this super aggressive and brutal thrash riff. It just really heavy. That riff had a lot of balls and intensity. One of the craziest riffs on the album, I think. is on Close My Eyes, when it goes from that really soft melodic part at the beginning into that riff. That riff is just a beast. It's so aggressive, and the intensity is through the roof. The Apostle kind of opens up with this, like, he's reading like this biblical passage. I didn't like the part of that song because it kind of took too long to get into the actual song. The intro leading into the song and the build-up was a little too slow. I wish they would have taken that part out, to be honest with you. But still changed it up. Still kept my interest to kind of listen to it, to kind of see what's going on. And the last song, 5 Minutes Till Suicide. Pretty decent song. Not the best on the album, but really still a thrasher. The intensity was still there. Same kind of vocal delivery following the rhythm of the guitars. Overall, guys, this is a really kick-ass album. Has everything I love in thrash. So the pros would be, it maintained the intensity and brutality of thrash that I love, but it also had melody. That's one reason why I love thrash. And like, for instance, melodic death metal over traditional death metal, because I love melody in my music, something you can kind of groove to. I found this album to be a perfect blend of like late 80s thrash, like that Bay Area thrash, just banger intensity, like Exodus, Testament, and then mixed with an early 90s groove of Pantera. This album had a lot of groove in it. You really kind of bobbed your head to the rhythm and the groove, but then also had the intensity of thrash and the speed. Really, really good combination. I love the diversity of the two things. And more pros. Lead work on this album is killer, really tight. Drum work was really awesome. A lot of the drums really stood out in a lot of places as well. I love the guy's vocals, very reminiscent of Chuck Billy, so for me, that's awesome. The only minuses, the Apostle, I wish they would have got into the song a little bit quicker. The American Dream, they stopped the song a little too abruptly. They should have kind of smoothed it out at the end a little bit more. And for the production overall, I thought it was really decent. The only thing I found on a couple of the songs, the guitars sounded a little thin, and the vocals kind of were over the top of the guitars a little too much. And yeah, I found the guitars just to be a little thin. The riffs weren't quite as punchy in some places. But otherwise, guys, this was a really killer album. Might be my favorite thrash album of the year so far. It just has a blend of everything I love about thrash. That old Bay Area sound, the intensity, but a lot of melody with guitar leads over the top, and a ton of groove in their riffs that are really memorable and catchy and really get your head bobbing in that rhythm. Just a really good album. If I had to give it a rating, and the artwork to mention as well, artwork is killer on this one. I love their logo, the way it kind of, is symmetrical and has like a design. And I love the imagery on the album cover as well. Really sick album cover. If I had to give this a rating out of 10, I'd easily give this, I'm going to say 8.75 out of 10. It's a really good album. Every listen I go on it, I get like it more and more. And really solid album. Great comeback album for these guys after so long, 34 years. Let me know down below, guys, what you thought of the album. Pros and cons. Is it as good as their older stuff? I don't think it's quite as good as their debut, but it's pretty damn close. It's really close. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more great content coming up shortly, and keep it metal.